Education, Laurie Kilmartin.
Okay, so I was at the hippie pot place right by Exeter. It was in Farmersville, and as I walked in, playing on a giant screen TV where you had to give your ID to get back into the vault of pot,
Yeah.
was the George Carlin documentary from HBO.
I just finished it last night.
Oh, did you? I hear it's
Yeah.
great. I hear it's great.
It's really, really good. It's
Judy Gold was on.
Judy's
And-
in it a little bit. It's mostly male comics talking about
Well,
him.
wouldn't it be great if it would be men talking about men? Who doesn't want that? Or
But,
just
I mean-
the only comics are men, and then they're talking
Well-
about the greatest comic in the world or whatever.
Yeah, I mean they obviously Kelly Carlin was in it, and she's spectacular and
Yeah.
very illuminating. And I identified heavily as a daughter, with what she was saying, even though my dad was nothing like George Carlin.
And she
But-
was on the Dork Forest talking about her dad. She
Yeah.
dorked out about her dad on the Dork Forest.
Yeah, it's great, and they talk about how dark he got towards the end, and they were playing some stuff, and I was like, damn, that is rough stuff, But I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't watch it yet, and I've only seen like probably 15 minutes of his act entirely, just because we never grew up with stand-up. Like I've listened to all of Zig Ziggler, but I've never.
Zig Ziggler, that explains everything. That's your comedy heroes. Oh my God,
right,
hilarious.
Like I just heard Richard Pryor. I like that you're still laughing about it.
Zig
It's,
Ziggler.
Zig Ziglar.
But I'm the same way. I mean, it's not Zig Ziglar, but all these like guys that are our age are like, yeah, I was raised on Carlin. You were? What kind of parents did you have that were playing George Carlin? My parents were playing like Judy Collins albums. Okay, I didn't even know there was comedy.
Right.
Maybe one Steve Martin album, but that was it.
Right. There was a Bill Cosby bit that I heard, the Noah bit, when I was probably 10 or 11, that I heard on the radio with my dad, and I was like, what the hell is this? This is amazing, because it is an amazing bit.
Yeah.
For a serial rapist, but I mean, just so people, I know.
Just because you serial rape doesn't mean you can't write great jokes. I mean,
you can write. Everyone
in fact,
can write.
Maybe it helps you. The more we look at comedians, maybe it actually helps you.
Until you find out, because then all you can write about is your court case. Hi, Lenny Bruce, talking to you. Bam! Where's that documentary? So
I think there's been a few on him.
Oh,
right?
I'm sure. When I first started doing stand-up comedy, I had never heard of Lenny Bruce, and Steve Marmel and Eric Alver and Hannes Finney. Those guys made fun of me because I had never heard of him, and I was like, all right. And so I went and I bought like 3 of his albums, one of which was very good, and 2 of which were super boring. And I did
Lenny Bruce you're talking about?
Yeah, Lenny Bruce.
Okay.
I've completely hijacked this conversation. Sorry.
No, I mean, I've listened to some of it as I feel like as a professional comedian, I should be aware of some of the shit.
That's why
but
I listened to it.
I wasn't LOLing, Jackie,
Right.
I was like, oh, interesting. I will put this in historical context and realize at the time it was fucking incredible. But
yeah, in the moment it was great. But I did just listen probably, and this is probably 10 years ago, so just is, Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
And I had never heard Richard Pryor before, and I was listening to it with some other comics, and I was like, wow, he has been ripped off hook, line, and sinker, man.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And but
Yeah.
what he was doing, he did it better than everybody else that I've heard rip him off. And if you put it in the context of that early 70s, that middle 70s, you're like, well, this is epic.
Oh, it's incredible. And then I still haven't finished the documentary that Kamau Bell did about Cosby, but he also kind of like shows them they were sort of in competition a little. Well, I don't know if they were exactly, but it was fucking Dick Gregory. But they show sort of how Cosby just peeled away and went super clean, and then how Pryor went his way, and the same with Carlin as well. It's very interesting how they they a lot of those comics from that era were super squeaky clean and in a business suit, doing,
then
you know,
not.
Merv Griffin. Yeah, and then not. Yeah, exactly. It's is I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of comics now peeling off into cuckoo land as
Right.
well. I mean, not different in a different way from those guys. You know,
Right.
they're getting very alt-righty, and they're leaving behind whatever kind of, I think, more palatable selves they had, and leaning into something that, you know, makes more money with a certain base.
Right. Well, and you know who didn't do that, who didn't peel off, was guys like on both spectrums, who started out crazy and stayed crazy, as Red Fox, and Bob Newhart, who never peeled off and went anywhere and stayed funny.
Right,
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he Newhart, I would say, is like kind of like the John Mulaney of his day, in that he kind of came out like fully formed as a comic, very like, you know what I mean, like
from the yeah.
he wasn't knocking around open mics and bombing for years. I never
Or
heard of Mulaney before I saw him be very, very funny. And
right.
Newhart, I think his album was the first time he'd performed any of that material. It's mind blowing. Yeah,
What?
Button Down Mine, I think. Yeah,
Oh
the
my
one with the Lincoln
gosh.
thing. Yeah, it's incredible.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Carlin docs really, it is very good. It yeah, I mean, he does, you know, he got super dark at the very end. And
What
I mean,
like
the
what
thing
you
is
mean
like just
what do you mean
in
by dark?
humanity, like he had bits about how he likes natural disasters because they kill more people. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I get it's yeah, I understand that. I mean, technically it kills more poor people because they don't have the resources to escape, like whatever. But overall, like if you just pull way back and look at our planet, go, yeah, I mean, none of us should be here. We're ruining it, and I can't wait till we're done. But I want to live you know, for 80 years, and I want my son to as well. But after that, everyone's free to be murdered. Unless he has kids, then we have to keep going.
I guess. What did I tell you? I tell you that I read some woman comic. God, I can't remember her name. Oh yeah, no, I remember her name. Here it is. And she was talking to me about how narcissistic her parents were, and I
Okay.
was like, yes, that's why they had children. It's people who purposefully have children, tiny replicas of themselves. The fact that you would be surprised that anyone's parents would be narcissists is the fact that every 26-year-old I know has discovered that their parents were narcissists. Right now,
Yeah.
it's like a brand new discovery, and I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, especially
I was
comedians.
26. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, once you start looking at them, sure. But I think it's just a natural desire to procreate that all species have. So I don't think necessarily everyone is a narcissist that has a kid, but I think everyone who has a kid that became a comedian is deranged.
Well, no, okay, yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily feel like just this. It feels like a very 26-year-old thing to do, is to realize that your parents are flawed, that your parents are
Okay.
that they're human beings, and that whether they are narcissists or whether they are jackasses or whether they are a little too good for their own good, whatever their
Right.
whatever the banana land is. I think right now it's 26 to probably 35 or 38. When
Hmm.
I when we were, it, I mostly noticed people our age going through that sort of crises of their parents being humans in their early to late 30s, going, "Oh, these assholes." And sort of
Hmm.
coming to grips with the fact that their parents are human, but it's coming earlier is all I was thinking.
Oh, I see. I mean, yeah, I think people now, kids being raised now, are much more. They have a fluency with psychological terms and therapy terms, and they understand, manipulation a lot more than we did when we were growing up. Like there wasn't even words for it. You're just like,
Right.
this doesn't feel good. I don't know what it is, but now like grooming was like such a niche word, and now it's like it's overused and been
Been
defanged, I
co-opted,
guess.
but yeah, and taken from.
Yes.
Yes.
However, Jackie, the more you point out that someone is doing something because they're young, points out that you're not young. So here's what I say: don't bring it up. Ever.
Who was the one 5 years ago who was like, let's tell everybody how old we are?
Jackie, 5 years ago. Guess what? It's 5 years later, and I've had a major change of mind.
Fair enough. Hey, you guys, we're in our early teens. We're just.
I had a show at the Haha last night. I was on someone else's show.
Wow.
What's a wow? What's the wow for?
The Haha Club for 25 years has
Yeah.
been a place that I've avoided. So for you to go
Okay.
up at the Haha Club fills me with jealousy. There's part of it that's like,
Oh, there's
Oh.
so many emotions.
Jackie.
Look how articulate she is with her emotions. Here we go.
Right.
Here we go.
I told you I was in my tweens. I've got words. And, so yeah, no, I'm ready. I'm ready. Should I start sending in my avails? The Chateau guy asked me for my avails.
Okay, so the Chateau is almost directly across the street from the Haha. This is
Yeah, it used to be a restaurant that was called the French Chateau that I ate at because it was next to my last day job.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
yeah.
Well, were you at the car dealership? What was your last day job? Were you a car salesman?
No, that took up too much energy. I was never in sales because I always wanted to save that energy for the stage.
That's not how Zig Ziggler does it.
No, I did. I was an idiot monkey for the closed captioning company.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even caption. I literally just logged in tapes and digitized things. Anyway, that's how long ago it was. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I'll be applying there very soon, so give me their number.
Take it.
But the Comedy Chateau has a cute little sign out now that says Comedy Chateau in a cute little font. I think it might be Helvetica, having watched the Helvetica documentary in the last 6 months. But anyway, the Haha is almost directly across the street, maybe like one street up,
Yeah.
a small block up. And so I haven't been there in a while. It can, my feeling is sometimes when shows run super late or something, there's always been a feeling of like, you could get there and be told a spot time, and then it would be up to an hour off.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
all the
very
time.
much so, but it has
So-
that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, this is a produced show by this comic named Percy. I forgot his last name. Very funny guy, and he went up and killed. It had a great crowd, and it was a fun room, fun little set. And I was like, God, why don't I put in here? Every time I'm there, I actually think that I just kind of. I think because of COVID too, like if there's anything where I felt like a room was sloppy with COVID, and let's face it, a lot of comedy clubs have been sloppy with it. Some have been great and strict in checking things, and others are just like, as soon as the audience would walk in, even during the mask mandate, everything's off, and it's just like, all right, well, I'll just wait until COVID dies down before I spend time here with these aerosols.
I have a friend of mine who's even more, my friend Maureen is like, I still am not cool with traveling. She won't travel. And I was like, all right, do whatever you feel good about. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with traveling. I just, and it's obviously less effective if everyone's not masked, but I'm doing what I can for myself.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do that.
Because I got that thing, Jackie. Remember that thing?
I remember that thing where you're made more aware than others.
Well, that wasn't even it. I think it's because I'm on blood thinner, or I have an aneurysm, right? But here's the thing, I'm on blood thinner. Like, the real problem is people who don't know they have an aneurysm and they get COVID and they get a blood clot because it causes blood clots. Like with me,
Really?
I'm actually might be in better shape because I got the heads up a couple years ago that I need to fucking watch this shit.
My dad has this aneurysm,
Oh,
and he gets it checked every 6 months. And the
yeah.
heart doctor, it's too close to, they can't operate, and
Oh,
they can't fix it. And they're like, it's a ticking time bomb. Stop looking at it. And he's like, well, how is that helpful? He's like,
yeah.
it's slightly bigger. It's slightly bigger. It's slightly bigger. And I was like, yeah, that's a drag. And he goes, yeah. And then he talks about something else. So it's on his mind.
They can't put a stent in it. It's too close to the actual
It's too
heart.
close. Yeah, it's too close to stuff. Yeah, they can't.
How about just some tape or something?
Duct
just
tape?
need to reinforce
It's
that. Yeah.
Wisconsin. I don't understand why they don't just try to get in there with a cheese curd and a
Sure.
lathe. I don't know, a lathe.
I don't know what a lathe is, but
can't-
isn't it something like
It's a
that
saw.
use a pottery thing? Oh, okay.
It's
I guess not pottery if it's a sow. Oh, is it?
Yeah. You can
Okay.
use both. It's a rotating thing.
right.
Yeah.
I did well in wood shop. I'm trying to show
Here's-
it. It was
Wait, I was right, Kyle, and Jackie was wrong,
Everybody
even though
was
she
right.
used the reference.
Everyone-
I'm saying everyone was right.
Oh, okay.
And
Dang
worst
it.
answer.
there are people,
Dang it.
and people are yelling at their iPods right now.
iPods?
my-
Who's on an
Yeah.
iPod?
Everyone who's listening to this is on their
my God.
iPod yelling, going, "It's a lathe! I don't understand. You don't have one in your garage." So,
Yeah. So anyway, that was a fun show, and no show tonight. I leave tomorrow. There's been lots of last minute drama.
but it's all coming together. Is it
It
coming
has
together?
been resolved. Lots of appliances are breaking, and
there you go.
just like shit that I'm like, oh, I do need to get this fixed, but it's all breaking this week. It's kind of weird.
Right. I'm at I'm at Andy's mom's, and the appliance guy is coming tomorrow because she sold her house within 24 hours. 4 offers.
excited for her.
Yeah.
Was she
and,
shocked by the amount?
She was. It's still not that much money, but that's because it's rural California.
Yeah.
And but it is great. She was psyched, obviously.
How long had she lived there?
7 years. And then 15 years in Lindsay, the next town down. And as I've said for the last 7 years, I can't believe Exeter, California has been here the whole time. And we've been hanging out in Lindsay. So, because Lindsay is dumb and Porterville is even dumber. Exeter is adorable and Visalia is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's like a line in the sand of dum-dums, and standing there is Devin Nunez farting into Porterville. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
they're all pretty. I'm gonna take the American flag and put another color line in it, or turn one of them into a gun. So they're a bunch of banana heads up here anyway. But
Yeah.
but whatever. I'm just, we're all just plugging along, trying not to be killed. And
Yeah, I mean, this is going to go up in a couple weeks, but we're still a couple days out from the Texas elementary
Massacre.
school massacre. So it's
Yeah.
still just like, what the, like
It's just sad.
every day are new horrific details about the incompetence that allowed all these people to be killed.
on the anniversary of George Floyd, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so all very, very dark, very sad.
Yeah. Biden, like, he signed some police reform, like, I don't know. You could have done it a year ago. We had to wait till the 2-year anniversary. Is that so powerful that it has to be delayed a year or 6 months or whatever? How about once you fucking figure it out, you sign it and you don't have to worry about what anniversary it is.
Is it an executive decision?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing about Joe Biden and executive decisions. He is, of course, for the last 2 years, been shoveling sand against the ocean, right? And I have this opinion, whether or not I don't know, right? But because the 3 things that he could sign into executive order right now would be about AR-15s, student loan debt, and abortion. He could just make them into law with executive decisions.
Oh, I think
Or-
they could be easily overturned, right?
He spent the first week overturning knob jobs,
Yeah.
executive orders.
Some
Right?
of them, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So, but he spent a week doing that. And the but if he did those three things, abortion, gun control, and student loans, I believe that he thinks that it will hot up the Civil War. But as Cindy Campanera said to me when I told her that, she said, "Let it burn."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right.
I mean, it's I don't know about the gun control and the abortion with an executive order, but according to Elizabeth Warren, who I do trust, you could do it with the debt, because that's just a federal interest rate that's ridiculous.
Yeah, she would know, and
Mm-hmm.
he could probably get away with that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. No new comedy controversies because
Because
Ricky Gervais released a special
Yeah.
that morning.
What was it? Yeah, what was that? There was a big backlash against Ricky Gervais.
There was, and then 21 people were shot to death, and everyone forgot about it. But for like
Right.
a couple hours,
The world hated Ricky Gervais again.
Yeah, like he loves
What did
it.
he
He
do?
must just love it, you know?
Yeah.
He has a new special on Netflix, and there's, some pretty like
Oh, damn
grade
it.
school level jokes about trans women. And they're never that mad at trans men, though. Interesting. But
Weird.
they are very upset with trans women for existing.
It's because they feel tricked into being attracted to these women.
Of course. Well,
And
maybe,
but trans men, they're like, well, why wouldn't she want to be a man?
Yeah, of course. We know that we know all the advantages. Yeah, we get it.
At least 20 cents an hour, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a big thing for a little bit, and then the news just got horrific. But it's funny because I was. All right, go.
Well, I was just going to throw myself under the bus and announce to the world that, again, I've gotten two people mixed up, and they are two entirely different people. So incredibly. Guess who I mix up with Ricky Gervais?
Brand?
Eddie Izzard.
Oh no!
I know. It doesn't,
What on
doesn't make
earth?
any. I know. I have that face thing, or I've just always been this dumb. We don't know. We may never know, Laurie, why I get those two mixed up.
You can't blame this on a face thing. They don't look anything alike. I mean, they're both British. That's it.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why they call sweaters jumpers. And I'm like, they're
Oh
the
my
same
God!
guy. No, they aren't.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah,
Well-
I'm wrong.
Eddie is a woman, but yes. Jackie, we're all
Eddie-
learning at our own paces. That's it. That's cool. That's fine.
And you know what? There's stopping and starting and starting and stopping, and there's some stutters. So
Sure.
welcome to today.
Welcome to Cation Land.
Cation, a day in the life of Jackie Cation. This day, not my finest day, it turns out.
Okay, but here's my point. So then I started just Googling Ricky. I love to dive in and read all the comments. I'm always
Yeah, you
obsessed with stuff. So there's a lot of British comics have material about Ricky Gervais or his material. It's kind of like it's
Stuart
almost
Lee does.
Stuart Lee, obviously. James Alcaster, who's sort of kind of famous now, is doing a bit as a sort of edgelord comic. And then there's this guy named Nish. I forgot his last name. He has a chunk about Gervais as well, and it's funny. It ends on a really funny. It's kind of ranty, but ends on a funny line. But I was just thinking, like, this is just self-generating content. Like, how. I thought comics were supposed to go, here's my life, and here, let me talk about it. And that's why it takes a lot of us 5 years to write an album, because we have to live a little bit. But if you're going to go, I'm just going to talk about other people's acts is part of your act, I mean, you can write 30 minutes in 30 minutes, right?
Well, I mean, but historically, there are the comics who talk about other famous people,
yes,
right?
Right.
So maybe it's just bled off of that. And,
No, comedy got too successful, and comedians got so famous that now other comedians look at them as news stories to potentially talk about.
Do you think that Andy Kindler is going to just sue them all because he has been the meta comic of meta comics.
True.
The JFL,
Mhm.
state of the industry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
But
year.
then I read Stuart Lee wrote a piece for The Guardian like 3 years ago about Ricky Gervais. It's like this ongoing hatred, and they it's a fire they all keep lighting and relighting and adding kerosene to. It's I don't know, but Stuart Lee's so funny. How can you mind?
No. James Corden was talking about how much he likes Stuart Lee, and Stuart Lee did a bit about how it was not reciprocated.
Jesus. I'm afraid to compliment Stuart Lee, but I will. He's so funny. He's
genuinely, really, really funny. And he's just a snob is what he is. But so is Andy Kindler, and I love them both with the power of the sun. And I am not. I am just a big, I think there's part of me that's a snob. I can be a snob.
Yeah,
I aspire.
No, but I mean, you have taste, and you go, these are the things I want to talk about. So that's being a snob as well. It's like it's your taste, your comedy taste.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of comics who I like off stage, and then on stage, I can't even. Like I'll save you the embarrassment and leave the room, so I don't have to see what you're doing on stage. But
this is so interesting to me because traditionally I have never been able to hang out with comics that I did not think were funny on stage, and so I've been avoiding some people for decades, and
you're missing out on some really nice hacks. You really are.
I know. And it used to be, I remember in the 80s and 90s, the worst thing if the first thing you said about a guy was, he's a really nice guy, you're like, that means he isn't funny.
Yeah.
And so, but now, I mean, because things have changed enough, there are plenty of really funny, nice, genuinely kind, decent people. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to stick with it. I'm still not going to hang out with the douches that aren't funny. Because it's 2 for 2.
Well, I mean,
it's not. Nobody's nice enough to make me hang out with them.
I'm not going to brunch with people. I'm just saying, when you're sitting at a club waiting for your spot in the green room, you can make conversation or not.
You'll barely come to brunch with me, so brunch is not a good barometer.
I've been to many brunches, but yeah. So I don't know.
I have a bunch of sets this weekend I'm psyched about.
Yay.
I just picked up a Sunday at the West Side.
Cool.
And we have to figure out, I'm getting offered sets, but I'm like, I don't know when
your schedule
this is really happening. Like,
right.
Are we going to bring this
oh God, no, you can't.
Are we gonna bring this cross-stitched eagle? Are we bringing that?
It's a cross-stitch?
Yeah.
Oh man, now you have to.
Yeah,
I thought it was a painting.
Oh no, handmade.
Oh my God.
Priceless.
Yeah, or without value. It's so funny. Chris, Andy's mom, was just explaining to her nephew. She's like, I don't know what to do with some of this stuff. And then I asked Jackie, and she goes, throw it away. And so that is my go-to. My go-to is Goodwill would enjoy these items. And I say with this cross-stitch, don't forget to sign it, and then I'll bring it to Goodwill.
Somebody would love that cross stitch. It's a bald eagle. And in the Central Valley of California. I mean, huge, my God. Huge.
There's a store in downtown Exeter that sells bronzes of jaguars and bears.
Oh my God.
And they're on the street corners. And there is one decent coffee shop in this town, and it closes at 1 p.m. every day. And the last 3 days, I've been at 1:15, I'm like, I'm going to go get... Otherwise, I have to drive 10 miles to the nearest Starbucks.
Jackie, why are you drinking coffee at 1:15 in the afternoon? My God.
I'm drinking coffee at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Good Lord.
I enjoy coffee. A lot of people like to microdose. I like to macrodose coffee. So... Where are we at here, Kyle? Probably...
I was just about to say 30.
I say
Okay.
we take a break
Sure.
and let's do that comic of the week.
Oh, our comic of the week. I just worked with her at Comedy Magic Club. Angel Gaines, hilarious, very funny.
Awesome.
I ran out to watch her set. She's very funny, and then I ran back to go over my shit. I was like, good.
Oh, awesome.
She's good. Check her off. I think she's LA based, Angel Gaines, and her at is at the Angel Gaines.
And is it
that correct?
Gaines?
Yep, an angel, just like
The word angel.
the things that don't exist.
Aw, come on. There's an
Puffy
angel on your
spin-off.
shoulder, and there's a devil on the other shoulder, and they're talking to you. I've been alone for a long time.
Oh my God.
Alone. And that's not true. I've been hanging out with Chris, but I haven't done stand-up now in 2-3 nights. I don't approve.
Yeah, that's enough to make you crazy.
Makes me a
I
little
lost-
twitchy.
Yeah.
I just found this item while cleaning things. We don't know what it is. I think it's a massager.
Yeah, that's like it is a massager. It's also kind of like a try me. Okay. I'm just gonna best case scenario, that's a massager, Jackie. Worst case, you're fingering your mother-in-law's vibrator.
Oh, it takes batteries, so looks like AAA's though. Who's got those sitting around?
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway,
sure.
I am nothing if not a conversationalist right now.
One of my so-called neighbors
Oh yeah.
called the cops because my car was a little bit in the red in a curb.
Instead of just saying to themselves, "Hooray! This gives me 6 inches more to park in front of her."
Exactly. Thank you.
Right.
I'm like, fuck it. I'll take both spaces then from now on. I'm trying to be polite so that the other people that pick up their kids around the school at school time, they have a place to park. Because I remember how impossible it is to fucking park in a neighborhood while you're trying to get your kid. But okay,
Right.
I'll take up both sides then, I guess, apparently. But I think it's because of my abortion is healthcare sign that's in the front of the house. And guess what? When I get back, that sign's going to get a lot fucking bigger, bitch.
Do you know why?
Okay.
Because abortion is health care.
Thank
That's
you.
all it is. That's all
Yeah.
it is. It's nothing else but that. So calm the fuck down. It's not the end of the goddamn world. Talk to George Carlin in his later years. He wants to burn you alive when you're an adult in a natural disaster. He wants you to slip and slide into a vat of lava.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching the idiot. Okay, so Rick Steves. There's a PBS show, Rick Steves Europe or something.
Yeah.
There's a British version called Rick Stein, who, as far as I'm concerned, is Rick Steve with a British accent. And he does a show called Long Weekends, and he flies somewhere and he eats their food. And he is British, and
Oh, it sounds like heaven. And it's all little places in Europe that are all just like an hour flight from London. Oh.
Yes, so he flies to he flies to, it might be 2 hours. Sometimes he flies to Berlin, he flies to Reykjavik, he flies to Paris, or the south of France.
That's the life I want to live, Jackie.
Right. Well, who doesn't? He gets to live that life, and he is hilariously talk about the stopping and starting of the learning experience. The guy's probably 70, and he's often very nice and very funny and very interesting, and occasionally completely out of his goddamn mind. So I watched an episode where he's in India and he was explaining to someone from India, that colonization was the reason they had potatoes. So colonization was good, and they would never have had potatoes if there hadn't been colonization, because they came from Peru.
Interesting.
And then that person said, there still would have been trade, Rick. We didn't have to have colonization.
Wow.
So, but other than that,
And where'd those potatoes come from that Britain was trading to India? Were they?
Peru.
Did they come from Ireland?
they did not.
They come from our ancestors.
They came from Peru to Ireland, and then from
Yeah, but then when they were colonizing India, that's more the time that they were also starving the Irish, they were prepping
because
to
they were running out of
prepping to colonize. Yes,
they were slapping the food out of the baby Irish babies.
yes.
Yeah. to give it to the Indians. What's happening? Okay, but I want to do a lot more stand-up comedy. Laurie, is what I'd like to say out loud. So I'd like to go to certain places. I sent off emails asking if I could come back to the Creek and Cave in Vermont because I'm due. And they both said yes. And then it's been several days and no one has given me dates.
Right.
So
It is the day before Memorial Day weekend right now, and people just may not be working this weekend.
And people have lives, but I would like instant gratification when I have asked and been accepted. So, and I, there's things I want to do. I want to, I got jokes I want to write, and there's no way to write them unless I'm on stage. Because that's how I write. I don't write in front of a computer, tap. It's not happening. Though I wish it did to some extent.
I don't write from my act that way. I mean, if I'm transcribing a notebook that I'm done with, I obviously will be typing. But otherwise, it's just ideas I think of, and I run to my little notebook and write them down my moleskin.
Right. It's all bullet points and half a sentence. And then I put a star next to it if I want to work on it sometimes. There's a glimpse. I'm boring myself. Someone else tell a story.
Well, let's see. I found out somebody's, this is terrible for the podcast, but this comic, hold on, was a Barack Obama was born in Kenya birth certificate truther, apparently. I had lunch with some friends who worked with them, and they let that fly in some kind of conversation. Yeah.
And yet that person seems like a Rhodes Scholar. Anyway, that's a comic that I met and I'm distantly polite to when I run into them.
Exactly, distantly polite.
Yeah. So they That's all I can do with that person.
You know what? Sometimes that's all you can do with some of these people. And that's good enough. I mean, we can't be buddies with every fucking comic. I draw the line at sex offenders. I don't want to. I don't want to hang out. If you're a bad comic but nice off stage, well, you're pleasing your fans. Your fans like you, I guess. I can't. It's none of my business.
You know that Frank Conniff wrote for the TV show Sabrina.
Oh, okay.
Sitcom Sabrina, and when he was writing for Sabrina, he used to do this bit about. He was like, I never know how to talk to people about it, and I usually end up saying, people like it, and that's your attitude towards some comedians.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. People really liked Sabrina because Caroline Rhea still gets recognized for it when she's on stage.
And still gets work, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And almost has to address it,
Right.
Interesting.
I get her mixed up, and this is dumb.
Oh,
because
no.
And they're both perfectly nice, and I've met them both, as opposed to Ricky Gervais and Eddie Izzard. Caroline Rhea and Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, my God. Jack, and please, can I just encourage you, just only do this with white comics if you're telling me who you mix up? Please, let's keep it with white comics.
Winter Spears. Hi, Winter. She listens.
Oh, my God.
She does a joke. She does a joke about how somebody white at work gets these two. She's like, if you think that somebody played Black Panther and that's the same person who was God, and if you're getting these actors mixed up, there might be some trouble. And I think we've established that there's definitely some trouble in my mind. It might just be self-absorption. Like I can't, like when I run into Caroline Rhea, I know it's Caroline Rhea. And it isn't Kirsten Dunst, it's Kirsten Johnson, or who was in Third Rock from the Sun.
Kristen Johnson. Yes, and Kirsten Dunst. You've mixed up their names in your story about mixing them up with Caroline Rhea.
It's a clock eater, though, huh? Come on, we got to be at 45 minutes.
39.
Oh my God.
My apologies, whatever you call yourselves, people who listen to the Jackie and Laurie show. Fans?
Oh yeah. I mean, Maron starts out what the fuckers, what the fuck nots. I mean, he amazingly created a community that is not alt-right, that
Yeah.
is not like scary and all that kind of shit. And he has I mean, it's really incredible the career he made for himself after the age of 45. It's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
With his personality, and I love him, but he is a prickly pear at times, and even still, he was able to, make something happen, which is a testament to his hard work and his talent as a broadcaster, which is very different from his talent as a comic.
Wow, this should be his bio, because I mean he is. Yeah, there's one of my favorite Mark Maron stories is in probably 1999. He came up to me at the Improv, and we're both standing there looking at the lineup, and he goes, "Cation, why don't you like me?" I looked at him
that was his first podcast. He just wasn't recording it.
and I said, "You don't like me." And he goes, "I like you." And I said, "And I really like you." And then we ignored each other for another 3 years.
Sure.
And that was fine, right? I mean, the thing is we would be friends if we hung out a lot, but neither one of us wants to make that effort. And I think that's
That's okay. But I mean,
okay.
also, like, there's a certain time in your comedy career you're going to hang out and make friends and spend extra time with those people, and then you're like, I got to peel. I have other things now. I got a family, and I want to get home to people that love me, and so I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Maria Bamford lives 35-40 minutes from me. I barely get to see her and hang out, and I'm not working the road with her this year, and so I don't know when we will hang out. She did drive to by my house to go to a diner by my house, and we had lunch. I think it was last week, which was very nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, and then
And she just called me. Weird.
Wow, you know what? I think she's a jealous best friend. This is the second podcast in a row where she's called to interrupt and go, "Hi, Jackie, I'm your best friend. Who are you talking to?"
Why?
Get her
We're
and Laura
friends.
House on that side show.
Oh my God! I just kind of want to do it. And,
I do too. Like I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's an alt Jackie and Laurie show for an alt world.
It'll be an alt left.
And how much more upbeat and pleasant would it be to listen to? I mean, right? Don't you
What's the
think?
fun in that though?
It's, right. Well, it's it could be whatever it is. I think that they'd be willing to do it. They mentioned it back in the day when we first started. So, I think, yeah. So I'm doing a Dork Forest tomorrow with Shelly, who owns the Siren in Portland.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing a Dork Forest. She's going to be talking documentaries about cults. That's her dorkdom. That'll be super fun. And then Saturday,
Will it?
Yep, I promise. And
Or
then,
informative. More informative than fun.
If anyone, oh no, it'll be fun because I don't
Okay.
know anything about documentaries, and I'm going to probably think that Shelley Long is in them, right? I mean, I'm just going to pull some.
Yeah, Shelley Berman. Yeah. Those are the only two Shelley Winters. Remember Shelley Winters?
Barely. Yes, I
She
do.
was such a great guest on The Tonight Show. She was really funny with Carson. She was like overshared and all this kind of stuff. And because she had when she was young, she was really gorgeous, really hot.
Okay.
And then she got older and she put on some weight and she just sort of embraced the new, like there was a ton of fat jokes about her, of course, in that time. But she kind of went with it and was a great guest, and I think had like a great, post-menopause career where, others, her contemporaries, Marilyn Monroe, of course, didn't even get to post-menopause. But, she was awesome. But I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Shelley's.
And so next week I'm doing a benefit with some sort of, I'm doing a Planned Parenthood benefit on Thursday. And then I'm doing some sort of other benefit on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to. Oh, and then Lady to Lady. I'm doing a Zoom show for Lady to Lady on a week from Sunday, June 5th, and that should be fun. And then I'm gonna do the Barkley for Vance on June 8th, and then Flappers on June 9th.
Okay.
So,
All right. I got dates too, Jackie, if that's what
let's
we're
hear it.
doing.
Well, it's true. Right. When because this will go up. Well, why don't we take a break and then you tell us where you're gonna be?
Okay. All right, we're back. All right, June 14th, 15th, 16th, and June 22nd, I'm opening for Gary Goldman at Largo in Los Angeles,
Fun.
which
Neat.
is an incredible show. So come out to that if you can. And then June 25th, I'm in Ventura at a comedy festival. And then in July 7th through 9th, I'm at Go Bananas in Cincinnati, or the 7th through the 8th. I think it's a Friday, Saturday. Or
Did you
Thursday.
get that
You know what? I'll
flight?
double check. I haven't bought the plane ticket yet. I can't bear to even look at it. I part of me is like, maybe prices will go down a little bit, but at the last I looked, it was close to $1,000 to fly to Cincinnati. And you know what money we make. That isn't. It's ridiculous.
It's not, yeah.
It's almost cancelable. But
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was. I think Carmen had to push a loony bin gig in a Little Rock because it was $1,300 to get to Little Rock.
what the fuck?
Yeah, she was like, I can't face it. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, it's a loony bin, so a loony bin, God knows what the loony bin pays.
Right.
So.
So that I'm going to Denver, which I already bought the plane tickets for immediately
Good.
as soon as before the metaphorical digital ink was dry.
Yeah.
Bruce is like, "You open for these dates?" Yes, and I have plane tickets already. But in Denver at the Comedy Works, July 20 through 22, I think, and then I'll be at Montreal, July 25th through July 31st.
Nice.
And there's a lot of cool acts at Montreal this year. I'm going to try to see a bunch of shows, I think,
As soon as you told me you were going to Montreal, I emailed TJ and I was like, hey, can I go to Montreal? Because that's what I'm like. And he said, I'm talking to him right now. And then radio silence. So I don't know that I love Montreal, but since I've been watching Murdoch's Mysteries, I'm all about Toronto. I just want to keep going back to Toronto.
Yeah.
I love Toronto.
It's great.
So.
It's lovely.
You were just there.
I was just there, and I'm just always. I understand you reach a certain level of success in Canada, and you can't go any further, so you just stay there and try to work it. But also, my God, it's can you imagine coming here and raising kids here when you could be in Canada, where there's no shootings and there's healthcare, and I just can't fathom it. But
Right.
whatever.
I don't know how to do. I really have to recommit to the Zoom shows, quite honestly, because maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just do a boat ton of Zoom shows here in my twilight years, and somehow figure out a way to.
I
make a living.
know. I mean, my rush ticks, I ended up, you split it's
Yeah.
50% to them, 50 to you. So I made like a little, like 700-ish,
Okay.
for a Saturday night. That was okay, you
Yeah.
know? I wish the rush ticks was the next weekend because it was the day before the MSNBC thing.
Oh,
But can
right,
you
right.
imagine if it'd been the Saturday after? I don't care if you hate buy a ticket and come to heckle me. I don't give a shit. Buy the
Yeah, as
ticket.
long as they're not actually in the room with you, hate buy a ticket, because
Yeah.
then you can mute them, you can kick them out.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's nuts. I'm hoping, yeah, I'm just.
I haven't
trying
bought my
to-
Montreal ticket yet.
Oh, Christ.
It's just, I should because all the comics are all buying their tickets. So the planes are actually filling up. What am I doing? I should log off this podcast right now.
and book some stuff. Well, I was asked to do just sort of one night in Austin, for sort of JT. He's booking sort of a weekend festival in Austin, and he asked me
JT,
to,
Oh, Haverstadt. Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you. I'm just gonna alienate everyone. Haberdashy. That's what I was gonna do. It's the word for hat. It's the word for hat. So he's a milliner, but so the
You
weird
remembered
thing,
the word milliner, and you can't remember that Eddie Izzard is not Ricky Gervais.
and is a
Interesting,
woman.
Jackie.
Yes, I know. I have my head up my ass, but I can remember that. But the I really want to do it, but I don't want Rebecca at the Creek, who is talking about booking me. I hope she's okay with it because it's one night. It's just a Thursday in October. I can't imagine she'd care, but she might. She might care. And so I have
maybe.
right. So I had teach. I want teacher to ask her that, and so this is the greatest minutia of how much I'm trying to fill my calendar right now. I
Yeah.
hope you're enjoying it, Jackie and Laurie listeners, and give yourself a shortened name. So it's are you cash kills or you kill caches? What are you? Come up with a name.
How about Jackalows?
Jackalopes?
Jackalows.
Jackalows? Lorjacks? Lorjacks?
Those
Wow.
could be the factions.
Those could
Warjacks and Jacklows.
Oh my God! How about just factions? I like the idea of make themselves into factions. Where are we at here, Kyle? I'm sorry to be so
Wait,
desperate.
you were just about to talk about minutia, Jackie. Don't ask what time it is when you have another story to tell.
Eat that clock.
Eat that clock. Eat that clock. It's how much I really, because of 3 new jokes, I want to go on the road so bad. I want to go up so bad. I
Right.
don't have other conversation. I am made of bees, and those bees all want to get on stage and tell jokes. So whether it's on Zoom or at Ventura Comedy Club, no. Or at the Haha Club, again, no.
I don't know what you're asking right now. You just told me you're
I'm
made
not.
of bees and you want spots, and then you listed 2 clubs you don't want to perform at.
I know it, right? I just thought I'd light my
We've
career on fire.
Got to get you
Yes,
out of
I
the
am.
Central Valley. This is not good for you. You're just making mistake after mistake
I know it. There's trouble. It's
while you're screwing and unscrewing a vibrator.
some sort of vibrator. What is this? Look at this guy, huh? There's just stuff sitting around at show and tell. Welcome.
So, yeah, my son has like piles and piles of unturned in homework, which affected his grades. But I'm like, you just got to throw this away. You can't keep this shit. And he's like, but nostalgia. I'm like, you're not going to want your old math homework. Please throw it away. It's a fire hazard.
Uh-huh.
I think he's so much like my dad sometimes. Like, he just keeps everything, you know?
Yeah, there's no room. There's no room for it. Yeah, we've got there's at least 4 of that. There's 4 of that size television and 1 that's twice as big.
Ooh.
So
the
that's-
twice as big one are you taking?
Yeah,
That's
we're
like a
taking.
movie theater. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a.
You
it's a
could put
six-
one out, hang one outside, and then you guys could like have movie night outside in the summertime.
Could do. Yeah, that's true. With a Chromecast.
We do that. It's really nice.
Okay. Is it a big one, like a 65 incher, or is it just 50,
No, it's like
40?
it's like a 47.
Yeah.
You put
But
on
when
a little arm.
it's pitch black out, you know, it'll just pop, and you can watch movies at 11 a.m. Oh, you know what? That would be a good thing to annoy my pro-life neighbors.
Ooh, yeah.
Loud
Hey,
movies.
What we should do is have a show, just a pro-life show in your backyard.
Oh my God, that's a great idea.
Yeah. It's do you know why I knew that? Because Ruth sent me. Anyway,
I don't know what that Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Turns out, like, that gal probably shouldn't have stepped down, but during the Obama administration. But that's okay. She's gone, and she did what she could.
right, and she gets to die. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We have a live Jackie and Laurie at Flappers on July 11th. Monday,
Right.
July 11th. So come for that. We'll be booking it soon. I
It's
have
a week before our birthdays, a week and a half before our birthdays.
Yeah.
And feel free to bring us presents. Oh, did you ask people already?
No, I will, but we should ask her because she's doing an hour in Montreal, so I think she'll probably want a spot maybe.
I just want to come and watch that.
I know. I'm saying there's so many good shows to watch.
We should be
Deb
able to
G.
just
Giovanni.
Deb G. Giovanni.
John Mulaney's doing his show up there. Hannah Gadsby's doing it. No, I think she's doing it in Gala. There's so many fucking names because apparently it's the 40th anniversary, so they're bringing everybody in. But it's like, how am I going to see all these shows while I'm possibly doing shows myself?
Right.
I'm mostly writing on Patton's thing, and I think I have a few spots. So it's just, he's doing a gala. So it's just like the opening mono and, the pitter-patter between the comedians, I guess.
So, okay, so you're picking up some work. That's good. You
It's
got the
a
Gary
week
Coleman
of work.
thing. I know.
Yeah.
But that I think isn't that how Blanket Patch lives his life? He's looking, Sully McCullough lives his life, looking for writing gigs on like the Oscars and the.
I'm not in that pack. There is a pack of writers for award shows, and I'm not. Yeah. I'm just not in that group.
Right. But I think you'd be really good at that. Yeah, I think.
I would love to. I'd love to write. I like writing jokes, so that's fun for me.
You really do. You like writing monologue jokes. You're actually quite good at it.
Yeah, or whatever. Just little jokes, though. This whole all the other stuff you have to come up with for a writing career. It's like, a spec and a da-da-da-da. It's like, all right.
I looked at my Sound Exchange money today.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting. It was because there's something called, did you know this? There's so all the webcasting money, like stuff that all my album that played on webcasting gets about a half a cent between 0.0343 and 0.0929. Those are the webcasting numbers.
What's a webcast?
Streaming, I think.
It is like, I guess it's like streaming, right?
Okay.
So there's webcasting. There is something called SDARS, SDARS.
I've seen that. I don't know what any of those categories mean. I assume I'm being robbed every single month.
Right. And I also like the one of the things that's playing my albums is something called Odyssey, AUDACY.
Audacity. Yeah.
It isn't Audacity because it's AUDACY. It's just Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not an abbreviation?
It isn't. And but Sirius XM does two different things. They do direct licensing and they do something called SDARS. SDARS. And the direct licensing is I thought it was $15 a spin. And it doesn't seem to be. But the SDARS seem to be like, I got like $56 for one track of the Meddler. That track, the Meddler, it's $56. But the Meddler just direct, the direct licensing was how much was that?
I feel like this is a customer service call, and I'm supposed to weigh in with how to solve the problem.
Well, it was $3, and I told you all I have is minutia. I'm so sorry.
But listen, let's
$54 from the SDAR thing, and $3 for the direct licensing thing. Both played on Sirius XM.
We're being scammed on every possible level.
That is.
I don't know.
It's devolving into Lady or Lenny Bruce.
Oh, entirely.
Just
and
Jackie
you are
Page
not
and tell me that, everyone.
You are not
Wait,
wrong.
Kyle, what time is it?
We should probably get out of here.
Well, it's and next time, look forward to me reading the transcripts.